Ring that bell, baby. Ring that fucking bell. Make it quick. Don't get cocky.
Ring. Hello, simps and virgins, and welcome back to Krown's
Not a virgin after yesterday.
Predurption Cave!
Welcome back to Krown's Predurption Cave. Oh dear lord, we've all had our pants pulled down by this market in the last 24 hours, and apparently my video is boofering right now, so please do let me know if the quality is actually working. I'm getting mixed signals from my YouTube over here. Unfortunately, it looks like there's some sort of issues. I'm getting some red over here. Hopefully this is going through right now. It does look like it's nice and smooth, so that is good, and I think we are ready to go once again. What's up, Mr. Crypto African Warlord? I see you, brother. Good to see you, my friend, and much love to your brother, Mr. Evan. What's up, Sprocket? Good morning to you as well. Timo420, nice name right there. Philson, I see you, brother. And who else do we have? Nyferio, Jack, there he is. Who else do we have? Holy fucking moly, man. I see Chiggy, a new face. Tokyo Channel, there he is. And let's get into it right now as we do peruse around the early morning rituals. Uh-oh, dear lord, it does look like, a little bit more boofering right there. It's weird. On two of my screens here, one of them's working rather well. The other one's working not so well, unfortunately. So I don't really know what to make out of that, but I haven't really changed any settings myself here, so I'm led to believe that this is a YouTube issue rather than a Krown issue. Hopefully this is actually going to work rather well. Anyways, with that said, we got plenty to talk about here today, obviously, as Bitcoin did break the very important area of 63,500, coming in from, I think it was basically about a day ago, essentially, and that did initiate targets down to the 58,500 to $59,000 level, of which we have fulfilled those targets, now bouncing back up, and kind of as we came into yesterday, this is looking a little more like a bouncy area. I still kind of stick by the same sort of analysis there, although in the short-term timeframes we did see that breaks more specifically of $60,000 territory, which did initiate another test down to that 58,500-ish region, and that leads us into where we're at right now. So with that in mind, let's get into the Krown application over here, which of course can be found at app.krown.net. I should probably wish you a nice and happy and healthy start to this Wednesday. Is it a Wednesday? This week is already like going by like crazy, just fucking insane, man. Time keeps on flying by. Anyways, I'm going to turn this off over here. Maybe that's going to help the boofering. Who knows what the fuck's going on right now. Laggy stream. Stop Elsa porn. Yeah, Elsa, close your goddamn tabs, for the love of God. Elsa does not. All right, let's see if we can actually get this one going. Come on, you gigantic piece of shit. Okay, excellent connection now. It says, please work. Okay, it's working. Is it back on? Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, good. All right, we're good. I'm seeing that it's got an excellent connection now, so I think that we are also good. Okay, let me know if that did not fix the issue. If it does, then that's great. If it doesn't, then I got no more tricks up my sleeve, and it's probably a YouTube issue right there. Okay, yeah, I think we are good right there. So beautiful on that one. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, fellas. Thank you for that. All right, cool. Yes, no more boofering. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So into the mark data tab we go as, okay, nice. It is fixed. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that, fellas, and apologies for that early morning mishaps. And I also have to say a major thank you for all the likes on this video as well. I see that there's a shit ton of likes already, which is nice, even with the technical difficulties over here. Again, apologies. I am new to the internet, obviously. Anyways, let me just make sure that this is good over here. Okay, now I can see everything. This is beautiful. Okay, so anyways, into the mark data tab we go, and there's a few very interesting things going on right now. So not only is the global open interest just regular rate coming down rather significantly, we have actually not seen the global leverage ratio go down at all. In fact, if anything, it's gone up. It is still at all-time highs and making new all-time highs at 0.2%, which is fucking phenomenal. Even with that said, the global founder rate has actually come down rather significant, so we do suspect that a lot of this is actually shorts entering into the market. But I will pull you back on over here, which we're going to be making a lot of allegories between late April and where we're at right now, where essentially Bitcoin did crash back down, took out the last daily higher low. And what do you see on the global funding rate right here? We actually see about the same rates that we did see as we're currently experiencing right now, not very, 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 very low, pretty much par for the course, or sorry, not par for the course, but basically at 0%, if anything. So global open interest is coming down, but the leverage ratio is not. It's actually staying up nice and high, which is incredibly interesting. So I don't know what to make of this just yet, but it either aligns ends with a fucking phenomenal drop that we're probably going to experience, or this might just be one massive trap. Of course, that's not very helpful. So let's actually go into the price action charts themselves, and let's talk about some things that can actually be actionable here. And with that in mind, let's start it off with this chart right here, the one chart to rule them all. Let's actually put it on a 4 hour for right now. And what do we see? We see Bitcoin coming back down to that 58,500-ish region. And I want to now make a very clean and clear analysis, similar to what we saw again just about half a year ago right here, where Bitcoin put in this new all-time high at 65,000 bucks, and right after that experienced what, about 10-11 days of just straight down. And what happened during this time? Most importantly, Bitcoin did take out the prior higher low right here. So we had this, and then we had this right here, obviously. So we had a lower low, and then what happens after that? Have to go on lower high watch alert. Now, where did that lower high come in at in late April? That was right at, if we do this properly, if I actually do this on wick to wick, it was right at the 6.86. It's right at the 618 Fibonacci retracement right there, which is a bearish retracement, obviously. So that is kind of like your natural lower high after a trend reversal. Anywhere between there and the 0.5 is kind of like the kill zone, if you will. And I would express great concern on Bitcoin's next bounce if it essentially fails to get back above that region. So I've already plotted that same Fibonacci retracement right on over here, and that will be between the ripe old price of about 64,000 bucks on the lower end and just above 65,000 bucks on the higher end, which also correlates with that last little spike high and rejection at 65,500 or so. Anyways, with that said, as long as we are living below there, it is a lower high, and we would generally be looking much further south, actually. So with all of that in mind, I would give Bitcoin a chance to bounce here. Obviously, coming off the 55 after your first major drop down, very, very likely to bounce this over the next few days here, probably back up to 62.5 or 63,000 bucks, I think is extremely likely. But if Bitcoin does fail to essentially reclaim that last little spike high right here, it is just going to be another lower high, and there will be major targets to the downside. Those major targets very likely do come down around the low $50,000 territory. So is it actionable right now? No. In fact, I'd say that right now is probably a terrible time to be looking for something like that, because it's a lot more likely to bounce right now in the short-term time frames, as we do start to see divergences finally being built up, even on the 4 hour, which did not have them. Sorry, actually, no, we do not even have them right now. That is incredibly concerning then. Jesus Christ, man. This one just doesn't want to go. Maybe on the buy hourly we have some building up right now, and I do believe so. Yes, indeed we do. And I imagine maybe the 3 hours, the highest term time frame that we actually have some potential divergences building up. Yes, it is. So the 4 hours still yet to remain to be seen. And I'm seeing a little bit of buffering going on over here. So please do let me know if it actually is working or not. Okay, it's a little laggy. It's a little laggy. Okay, that is weird. I'm getting excellent connection on one of my screens, and then the other screen is actually giving me a red, but hopefully that's working. So again, apologies on that, but I think I'm led to believe that it's probably just a YouTube issue. In this case, and this is the best that we can do for right now. But all lower term timeframes are essentially working off of extreme conditions right here with BBWP. So whenever we see volatility get this high, it's a lot more likely to do a little bit of contraction, and contraction within the context of the current short-term timeframe trend obviously is a downtrend, but contraction would imply a bit of a bouncy bounce, as we do see even the 4 hour get way the fuck up there, printing some red. In fact, I'm curious if the 6 hour got there as well. No, it did not. But you can see, no, you can't really see anything that's super relevant about this one. In fact, it's just onto the 4 hour. So, could we see another drop off to the downside here? Yes, but I wouldn't be looking for another major new trending move to new lows until, oh god damn it, it's doing it again. Don't boof air. Is it boofering? Anyways, I would really only be looking for like majorly new lows. If Bitcoin can close below the spike low wick that we saw yesterday at my time, 10 a.m., which was a low of about 58,575 on BitMexico. I actually want to see if that's consistent amongst other major exchanges. Let's see what CME looks like. CME, I actually have this one charted a little bit better, and that would be right. Yeah, actually, pretty much the exact same area right there. 58,555, so a bunch of fives right there. And then if we go over here to the index, which I also do quite like for just general charting, we see about 58,650. So yes, let's just say 58,500 or so, any sort of a closure below there. And then yes, I would be looking for this one to actually take the next major leg down. In this case, I suppose 57,500 would be the next area to be watchful of. While I would be looking for a bounce there, probably not going to be too much more than that. And then generally speaking, I would be looking for, well, the next major area area, as far as the daily comes, is going to be about 54 to 55,000 bucks. So a lot of things can happen obviously between now and then. However, I would still be looking for a general bounce here first and foremost, especially if we are kind of playing this Krown cross strategy right here, coming down to the 55, generally speaking, will bounce things. And a lot of the time that is where you kind of look for your lows at. Anyways, goddamn it, we're still lagging. Bastard! Oh, motherfucking bastard right now. Don't do this to me, YouTube. YouTube, how dare you? It's apparently not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, which is rather interesting because, yeah, again, nothing's actually changed on my side as far as output goes. So who knows what the hell is going on today? F5, yeah, need some Fs in the chats there. Anyways, yeah, so again, I'm probably looking for a bounce relatively soon here, probably anywhere between about 62,500 to 63,000 bucks. I think is rather likely. The question is, can Bitcoin actually start to close back above this last buy cry right here? If it does, good. If it does not, then well, it's time to get ready for some legitimate downside into the low $50,000 territory. I'm curious to see how momentum oscillators are operating right now, as well as we do see hourly Stochs going to flip back up as long as we close this next hourly dildo, basically above 59,000 bucks, which currently trading about 400 to 500 bucks above right now. Not really too comforting though in this current environment. Looking at the buy hourly right here, what do we see? We see nothing because it won't even load. There we go. Yeah, going to be freshly crossing up with any sort of a closure above 59.5, and the 4 hour is going to be doing the same thing above 60,100 or so. So again, still has a little bit of work to do here, and until we get all of the lower term time frames on the same side, I would be a little bit more on guard. It's not wise to be calling the bounce until we see all of those ones in concert with each other. Motherfucker, those goddamn witches have done it again. anyways, let's see. What about the medium term time frames? I imagine they're still coming down hard, but still no chance of really crossing to the upside anytime soon, as even the 12 hour would need a closure above 62,300, and the daily I imagine is even worse at 63,850 right here. Now, I also want to focus on a couple other things that happened in the last 24 hours, of which they have great importance here. That's going to be the higher term time frame closures, obviously, not just the daily, but we had a 2-day closure and a 5-day closure, both of which did not close in a strong position. We'll call it that, man. We'll call it that right there. Not only that, but even the 2-day did get a pretty nasty jewel signal right there. I think the daily is a little bit more aggressive on it, and does have the DMI supporting. So if you do have the jewel, you probably did catch that one coming in from just 3-4 days ago right here, and now getting the follow through on that one. Now, of course, the 5-day did close as well, and we did close, I would not say as a strong position. Now, do we have some bearish divergence for me right here? No, we do not actually. So I believe bearish divergence is only available up to a buy daily, and we already hit the first easy target on that one down to the 21. The next major target would be the 55, and that is 54,000 bucks. I do not look at that as actionable again until Bitcoin actually does break and close below that last spike low that we did see from yesterday, and probably still take some time for that to even happen to begin with. So I am still leaning towards a bit more of a bounce right here. I just think it's a little more likely before we do see any sort of major continuation of the downside. But be aware that, there are some legitimate targets that carry us on much further to the south side. And of course, this was all born upon our analysis coming off of last Friday's closure for CME, which did close as a shooting star dildo right here at the top of our rally. And now we are getting, well, our first higher term timeframes on the daily, 2-day, and 5-day below the low of last week's low, which was 62,385. So all of this, does essentially gear up the probabilities in favor of the downside continuation after a bit of a short-term bounce. Again, this will all be negated and invalidated, and Bitcoin will be bullish once again with any sort of a daily back above, let's call it 65,000 bucks, and make it nice and easy and simple. Until that happens, anything below there is a lower high, and while I wouldn't necessarily call a full-on move like we saw, back on over here in April for like a 50% drawdown, I would be looking for a general, continuation. In this case, almost another $10,000, somewhere down around the $51,000 to $52,000 area, in line with the 21 exponential average right here on CME, of course. So, a lot is at stake right now for the longer term timeframes. And essentially, if Bitcoin does not kind of pull itself together before end of week this week, there's not going to really even be a trap situation to be aware of either. So this is, these next few days here are rather important, obviously. Now, I want to also come back and address something that we spoke about yesterday. So yesterday, God damn it, I just goofed that one up right there. There we go. Okay, thank God for the undo tab. My apologies on that one. But most importantly, with this chart over here, what do we see? So there are several things going on with this chart, and the biggest thing is that we do see some sort of just pivot points around the third Friday of each and every month. Now, my personal interpretation of this is coming off of traditional markets, which in traditional markets, the third Friday of every month is your regular expirations for options on equities, essentially. And the reason why that is legit, or the reason why that is important, is because That's typically where a lot of the big positions are. So there's a lot of rebalancing around that date. And we do kind of see a similar thing going on over here in Bitcoin. Now, the options market for Bitcoin is not that big, but it is kind of hard to ignore what's going on here, as we do see a lot of highs and lows being put in, specifically lows actually being put in around the 20th of each and every month. Now, while the last one was not a low, obviously this was a high in October, we do see all of the ones prior to that for the past few, actually half a year, have pretty much been major lows. We're talking about this one right here in September on that spike down to 40,000 bucks. Yes, Bitcoin did kind of hang out around there for a little bit of time, but ultimately did not break lower. We see the same thing over here in August on this little spike down, as we do continue onwards and upwards for another almost $10,000 move from 44 to 53. We see the same thing over here in July, where Bitcoin did get its major bear trap reversal at 30,000 bucks, and that's essentially been our current macro low for the time being. And then of course we do see even the one over here, coming in June on this spike low, which did lead up for a nice rally. Of course, things did come lower over time, but again, the more important thing with that is that it was still like a nice pivot for a bit of a mean reversion trade right there. Same thing over here on the 20th of May on this spike low. Same thing over here on April. Same thing over here on March. And then I imagine, no, this actually was not your February 20th. This was actually the 20th of February. In fact, if anything, the 20th of February was your major high over here. So there does seem to be a lot of pivots around that third Friday of each and every week of the month. I don't have a full explanation of that just yet, just kind of some theories, not that it really matters, but we're obviously coming into the 20th to 21st of this month relatively soon. I mean, we're on the 17th right now, so that would be another 1, 2, 3 days, it looks like. It'd actually be somewhere around Saturday, Sunday. And, well, perhaps something to be aware of, as how much damage can be done between now and then. A lot, of course, a lot. And just because it is a bit of a short-term reversal point does not mean that it's it's a daily reversal, obviously. We saw the same thing over here in April of this current year, where Bitcoin did come down, took out the last daily higher low. In fact, we can make a very, very lucid chart right here. Boom and boom. Okay, and I think it's actually going to be really interesting to have this on one pane right here. Of course, putting in the lower high, the 618, and what happens over here? Well, do we have a lower low below this prior low? Yes, indeed we do. We did close actually well below there, in fact. And what are we doing right now? Currently hopefully putting in a low right there. And if we were to rally up from here and potentially put in a lower high, again, the 618 is right around 65,000 bucks. So anywhere around there, is kind of going to be a major area to be aware of, in the sense that, if you do want to be bearish, well, that would be the area. And as long as Bitcoin is below there, I will be bearish on this asset, essentially. Now, to be fair, we don't necessarily have a reversal, like a full-on reversal just yet. Obviously, we need a lower high and the lower low. We already have the lower low, but we do not have a lower high just yet. So that would be the one counterpoint to what I'm saying right now. And then obviously I know that a lot of people are looking at like an Ethereum fractal as well between basically now and like 2017 for Bitcoin. And that would say that we do rally back and above from here, which I guess is possible, yes, but I would not look at that as, anything actionable for the long term, at least for myself, as long as below about 65,000 bucks. So until that level is retaken, well, anything's just a lower high and hard to love. And I also want to remind myself, on all of our higher term timeframes, momentum oscillators are coming down hard right now. So we do have trend and momentum going in that same direction. Here's your daily, again, heavily down below about 64,000 bucks. Buy daily, which just closed yesterday, not only is kicked out of the bullish control zone, but heavily down as long as below 67,350. And the 5-day, which also closed freshly yesterday, is freshly down as well, as long as we're below actually 60,700. So actually that one is not all that bad. But the weekly is going to be freshly crossing down with any sort of a closure below 67,550. So I'm led to believe that the 5-day is a little bit more of the odd man out right there. We do see that the majority of them are kind of angled in the same direction. If we even go to the bi-weekly, which is closing this week, yeah, about 4 days left to go. Bro, I give up, Krown. Sorry, man. Again, I can't, I have no control over it, man. I have no control over it. But I do believe that the connection should be good now. I'm getting green all across the board, so there should not be any more interruptions. Again, I apologize about it. I understand that if it's just too hard to watch, hey, man, all good. Just, you can watch the video later and there won't be any buffering, or you can also just let me know that you hate it, and that's all good too. Can I pin the message now? I actually maybe can. All right, yeah, go do it. Let's see. Yeah, I can do it from here. All right, cool. Let's see. There we go. And Don't think we're gonna have too many issues with that today because people are fucking pissed off, but hey, rightfully so. Anyways, I am going to pop back in over here. Let's see what comments we got going on right now. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, 16 and a half minutes. Okay, yeah, so we are actually a little bit further away from there. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Elsa's going crazy right now. Calm down, sir. Calm the fuck down. You spilled smoothie on your pants. Now I'm getting red again. What is actually going on today with this goddamn internet? All right, sweet. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting through the comments right here, and hopefully YouTube just plays along right here. Anyways, let's see who's first of the day. Mr. Crazy Guy says Obor Tech, Obot, 4 hour, 6 hour daily. Yeah, man. Again, we looked at this one yesterday for you, and remember it was not on TradingView. So. Or at least if it is, it's this thing right here. I would really appreciate it if you did specify what exchange you're looking at. I don't know if this is the right chart. If it is, this is fine. I don't really have any opinion on this though, because it's way too new and it doesn't look like it trades. If this is the chart, the best that I can do is the daily, and the daily looks like it's breaking out of an accumulation right here. As long as it's above about 990, I do not trust a chart like this, man. And really, it would be much better if you did specify what exchange you're looking at, what asset, all of that good stuff. I don't have a good buying point for you, not for much else other than I'm not financial advisor. I'm not. This is not financial advice, obviously. But looking at this right here, man. Again, I don't know which exchange you're looking at, and all of these are significantly different. I mean, this is just a garbage chart right here that has no business being trading. This one over here is just the same thing as actually before, but. Again, I suppose as long as you're above about 950 or whatever, it's okay. But again, this thing does not trade. If we go down to an hourly, this thing goes multiple days without having literally any volume, like zero volume. No one's trading this thing, man. This is, I don't have any good analysis on something like that, man. I apologize. I know that's annoying, but I have to be very, very strict with that, unfortunately, because, well, there's not really much to do there, man, for me. What's up? What the fuck, crypto? XRP full run up. Need to buy the dip makeup for Saito incident. I mean, we can look at Ripple, man. I don't know if that's going to be your savior. Ripple's kind of like one of the more weaker ones in this market right now. This one got hit on the head fucking massively, man. So we did hit the invalidation from the days prior below about 117. Obviously, that's going to initiate moves well down below to $1, of which we pretty much hit right now down to about 104. General OV on this one, man, it's relatively weak. If you do want to be in this market right now, which I don't necessarily know if this is the smartest thing, you want to pick the strong ones, the ones that are actually holding up well during this crypto crash, if you will. And this one would not be one of them. This one is actually getting hit pound for pound more than most. From the current highs to the current lows, about 23.5% down. That is not strong, we'll say. So if this thing came down to maybe like 85 cents, I think that would be okay for a bit of a bounce, but I mean, if your question to begin with, man, reeks of, and I'm not saying this to be mean to you, but it reeks of desperation. If you want to buy the dip of something, buy the dip of something that's actually acting strong during this, because those are the ones that are going to actually act very well if and when Bitcoin does turn around, assuming that it does to begin with. Ripple is not one of them. Ripple is one of the weaker ones right here. If you are just looking for a short-term bounce trade, could you have one from here? Yeah, I do think so. Back up to about 113, 114, I think is, more or less reasonable. But for the long term, hard chart to love right now for these time frames, man. Gonna require a very strong broad market for this thing to do anything, because it is relatively weak. So until Bitcoin actually picks itself up by its bootstraps, Ripple I don't think is going to be doing anything of particular interest, sir. What's up, Ricky-O? Yeah, we can do some Ethereum. Let's actually definitely record this one as well. We haven't put it up in a video on Ethereum for a while now. And what do we have right here? Oh, we have a nice little bouncy bounce off the green 55 on the daily. Beautiful. All right, here we have Ethereum versus the dollar, and we have our first major bounce off the green 55 exponential average right here. Now, again, this is kind of where you expect your corrections off of this sort of strategy, what I refer to as a crown cross right here. Once we get the cross between the 9 and the 21, of which I expect it to then essentially range between the 21 and the 55 for a while. However, here is what would make me look for a major reversal on this one. Not just a daily reversal, but front run essentially a weekly reversal, and look for major moves down to 3,500, perhaps lower than that over time. It would be a daily closure, specifically an open and closure below the 55 in this case, which is basically right around 40.50, or basically the low of today for what it's worth right now. Now, with that said, do we see anything that is indicative that this one is putting a low right now, or anything more than just a local low? Well, we do see volatility tricking off the lows right here, which is probably not the best sign, and we do see that daily RSI kicked out of the bullish control zone. Yeah, I do think that it'll bounce here and probably play between about 44 and 41, let's call it. However, gonna be gonna not be too good as long as you're below 45 especially. So it does have a rather large range, as most things will today. Let's actually go check it out from this angle just to see if lower term time frame momentum oscillators are turning around and suggestive of a bounce right now. Yeah, we do see 4-hour Stokes will turn back up above 4,200 or 4,220 to be exact. Actually, by hourly return back up above 41.45, which is currently above right now, so looking good right there. And hourly is also freshly turning up above 40.80. So yes, I do think that it's more likely to bounce here. Same thing as Bitcoin. Short-term bounce target is probably about 42.50 to 42.60 or so. And if we do go over to a 4-hour, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see this one even extend that to about 43.50 to 4,400. But again, below 4,400, it is technically a bearish setup long term. And we're kind of just seeing, well, lower term time frames kind of work off of extreme conditions right here. Here's our 4-hour BBWP. Here's your bi-hourly BBWP, of which should load. And then we go for the hourly as well. All of them hit 100 percentile. So while we are going to see very likely a bounce here, it is time to be on lower high watch, similar to Bitcoin in this case. So again, I think that this one can easily bounce to 43.50, kind of same thing as Bitcoin to like 42.50 to 40, sorry, not 42, but 62.50 to 63. But again, you know, as long as you are below that critical region, it is just another lower high. Let's actually throw a bearish retracement on this one as well and see where we're at right now. Yeah, even then the 0.5 is at 44.50 and the 618 is at 45.50. Very, very interesting right there. Very, very interesting right there. So I can't say that I'd be very comfortable to be bullish on this one above 45.50 or so. But until then, just short-term bouncy. And here's where I'd get more immediately bearish, looking for a continuation to the downside. In this case, 3,900 would be the next major target, and that would be on a 4-hour closure. A 4-hour closing lower low. In this case, that would be below, I guess, your low of the day right now, which is 40.67 in this case. Below there, yeah, I do look for a move down to about 39.20 to 39 base, and well, very likely another bounce there. I'm not necessarily looking for that to happen before a bit of a short-term bounce here, to be fair, but hey, that would be my conditions for that. And hopefully that was helpful on Ethereum, man. So should we actually look at the higher term timeframes for this one? Maybe we do that very, very quickly. How has this move changed around the daily, specifically on our 200 bands? That's still okay. I mean, this is just a bit of a consolidation on the daily. What about the 5-day? A little bit more concerning right there. What about the weekly? Yeah, a little more concerning right there as well. I imagine that is starting to build up some divergences on the weekly specifically. Yep, we definitely do have that right there. 1, 2, 3 drives coming off the highs. The 5-day is already confirmed. Yep, between this point and this point. So that is also not good. Ugh. Yeah, short-term bouncy. Do be aware of where the pain points are long-term though. Probably gonna be easier to watch Bitcoin. If you see Bitcoin put in a lower high below 65,000 bucks, that's gonna be mega concerning for this asset right now. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Ethereum, sir. What's up, Sushi Yum Yums Triple D? Yeah, we can look at this one. It's gonna be a 3D printer, I do believe, on your stock exchange. And what do we have right here? We have a bit of a distributed phase going on right now. It does look like it had its kind of chance a few days ago. It looks like on the 2nd of November, did not take it. And now I'd say that this one is actually bearish as long as you're below that lower high, which is 35 and 15 cents right here. Now, while, you know, short term very likely does bounce back up and could probably bounce back up to 28.20, maybe a little bit more than that, I would actually be looking for a bearish setup here again, as long as you're below 34.60, and this will be actionable with downside continuation around your prior May lows if you do take out and close below about 24.5 in this case. We do see that volatility starting to tick up right here as well. Again, off of that lower high confirmation, momentum oscillators are in a neutral to slightly bearish posturing, but more neutral than anything, I would say. And I'm just curious what this, oh, sorry, I'm looking at a 5-day right now. Let's actually look at a daily. Yeah, short term it's bouncy, but, you know, pop back up, fill the gap, somewhere around 28 bucks or so. After that, it is lower high watch, man. And we do got some bullish divergence coming off the lows right here. Very likely to bounce short term. Be aware of where that lower high is, though, is what I'd say about that one. Hopefully that's helpful, sir. Let's see. Hey man, all good, $5 or better in it. If only, man. You know what's crazy is that I actually have purchased a gig internet here, and every once in a while it does do shit like this. So it is what it is, man. We'll just have to make the best of it. But according to my streaming agent over here, it is now fully green, and there should be no more issues. So hopefully we're over the hump for today. And I guess it was just a little bit of an early morning mishap right there. What's up? What the fuck crypto says, I got 5 on it. IMX, please. All right, we can check this one out. Let's see. Let's see, IMX USD. This is a mutable X token. I guess FTX is the one to go to. Maybe Poloniex might have some more history. Let's see. Nope, looks about the same chart right there. Maybe Huobi if we're lucky. Actually, Huobi has a little bit more luck, a little bit more history right there. No time frames given though, so I'm just going to go with the 4 hour and a daily in this case. That's typically what people do want to look at. This one, in comparison to your prior request for Ripple, I'd say is well generally better. It'd be relatively strong in comparison to Ripple. Not that I'm necessarily a humongous fan of this chart, being that it is like super new here, but it's definitely got a better history than Ripple thus far, and it is putting in a bit of a local low right here, and I imagine that it very likely does bounce back up somewhere around your last little 588 spike high right there. However, this one, I don't think it is as damning as Ripple, as long as you're between about 640 and let's say our base of about 508 that is. I do actually look at this one as likely to bounce back up, and you know, this one, to be fair, is, I mean, it's actually not super bearish as what I was expecting. In fact, it's actually not so bad in comparison to a lot of the things in this market right now. However, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for this one to go on like another grind towards new highs, as long as you're below about 643 in this case. So short-term range is actually good for the BULAs right here, breaking below your 508 region, and then yes, I'd be looking for this one to fall back down to your prior range lows. That's going to be a big drop towards about $4 or so. So I'm curious. I think that's like what, a 20% drop right there. Yeah, somewhere around there. Not good, man. So short-term bouncy though, and that's really what I have to say about that one, man. What's up, Super Googly? Can we have a look at what? What?
Can you do one? Because he said it in the beginning, but I didn't see it.
Okay, just tell it to me.
Is that USD for?
Can you just post it, please?
It's from third from below.
Third from the low. Okay. Oh, from Matsy. Okay, Theta. All right, yeah, we can look at Theta really quick, and then we'll get on to Hang Seng Index. Theta. What do we have right here? Yeah, we have a break of our higher lows right there. Actually, no, not necessarily yet on a weekly. I don't know what time frame I did that one on, but you know, again, same thing right here, man. You know, when we're coming off the 55 on a higher term time frame like this, I'm going to be looking for a bounce regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. But what do we have now? We have a series of lower highs rather than higher and also higher lows, but that is going to be a lot less obviously bullish long term, and instead does morph into a little bit more of a neutral formation right here. Do you have to be or can't really be too excited about this thing as long as you're below about 850, and can't really be too well, I guess, doomy about this thing as long as you're above about 515 on the other side. Until then, you know, if you do break out to the downside, the measure move is going to be applied in the other way, and that would be pointed all the way down towards about $1.29. I don't necessarily think that's what's happening right here, but that's what's at stake. And if you do take out the prior high right here, still looking at a big move towards, you know, $13 over time. Now that is a weekly, obviously. Anyways, you did ask about a weekly, so let's go down to the daily now and address that. What do we see on the daily? Switching around to a little bit more of a bearish posture as well. Volatility is ticking up as momentum also has turned down. Namely, the daily jewel right here did call a bit of a short signal on the 9th to 10th of November, which was, yeah, right here coming off of the actual high. Not fucking good, man. So while I probably would be looking for this one to bounce alongside the rest of the market, we don't even have, wow, we don't even have bullish divergence coming off of the 4 hour lows. Jesus, man. Nasty. Real fucking nasty. What about the hourly? There's got to be something for this thing, man. It can just fall over from here. It definitely can. But anyways, hourly showing some bullish divergence, but kind of already hit the easy target on that one. If you do get extension, looking somewhere around 645 or so. Until then, man, this one's under a lot of pressure, man. Below $5.50, I would be front running a major reversal right here, and you know, targeting your last major July lows first, 350. Very likely a bounce there, and then lower over time, man. Let's see how the monthly looks like on this thing. Monthly's still okay. Probably shouldn't get too bearish on something like this. Probably not leaning towards like an actual breakdown here, but to be fair, yeah, this one, we're not really getting anything that looks good here, I would say. Gonna require a strong Bitcoin, I imagine. So probably just easier to watch Bitcoin in this case. You know, Bitcoin bounces up, I'm probably looking for this one to pop back up to like 645 to 655. Above there, things look a little bit better for the short-term timeframes, but still higher term timeframes, you know, can't get excited as long as you're below, especially 8.5 if you're on a wick basis, 8.25 if you're on a closing basis. Until that happens, a little bit more cautious than not, I would say. All right, cool. Let me swing back on over here and let's see where we were at. Mr. Super Googly is looking at HSI. So this is Hang Seng Index. This is China's major Boris. And what do we have right here? What time frames were we looking at? Firstly, daily and weekly. Gotcha. Bouncy. Oh, nice. We hit our 23,500 target from like months ago. Nice, not bad. Looking for a bounce off these regions right here. Short term, probably looking for another continuation right around 26,000 on a break of 26,000. More importantly, any sort of a weekly closure above there, I would extend targets towards the highs of your early August spikes. That's going to be between about 26,700, perhaps even fill the gap after that as well towards 27,300. Anywhere around there is fine. I do think that this one is putting in a pretty formidable low for the time being. Monthly is also looking like a local low right here. So, very likely to move off these lows to the upside. Long term, is this another higher low on the monthly? Actually, it is, yes. I'm curious what the bi-monthly looked like as well, because that one obviously closed to start this month. Not in a position of strength, I would say, but again, short-term bouncy probably does work its way up over the next month or two, back up somewhere around about 27,000 bucks. If you're back on the daily, however, yeah, I'm looking forward to trade out from here too. 200-ish regions where I'd be looking for over the next couple weeks here, most likely. I really only get bearish on this one if you take out the spike low from 10th of November, which is 24,500 or so. If that happens, I'd be looking at another run at your current lows, very likely a bounce there, and I want to see it again. Until that happens, this one's a lot more likely to trade up from here over the next couple months than not. And to be fair, it is another macro higher low, so it's not really wise to get super bearish on this one like very long term. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for the Hang Seng, sir. What's up, Aquanetta? Yeah, AVAX. Yeah, we can definitely do that one. You say that I like this one, but I was very confused why it did not go down yesterday, because it's one of the strong ones. So that's kind of the well, actually, I'll save this for the video. Yeah, let's record a video on this one, because this is very, very impressive right here. Here we have Avalanche, symbol AVAX versus the dollar, and we have a really good question here from Aquanetta, who is saying, I like this one, but I was very confused why it no go down yesterday. Well, why it no go down yesterday? That's a great way to posit your question, of which the best answer for that is just a simple fact that it's relatively strong, as it has been for a long time here. This one is one of those charts that just seems to go up and to the right, which is, well, what you typically want if you are going to be long in an asset for a long time. And with yesterday in mind, which if you're not aware of, or you're viewing this video at a later date, what did we have? Well, we saw a pretty nasty downside move in Bitcoin over the course of the last week or so. We've actually seen about $10,000 down from 69 to 59, essentially. And while AVAX has played out some downside moves alongside that, people are using that to accumulate, essentially, as you can see right here on this massive wick down to our low $80 range, which we did have as a as kind of a bouncy area from yesterday. Well, the bounce is not just a bounce. This is looking like it's going to shape us up as continuation right here. Anyways, I'm curious to see if we have any sort of major concerning things for the daily right now. We would have bearish evidence. We do confirm a local high right here, but a local high is not going to be confirmed by any stretch of the imagination as long as you're closing above, especially $90. So as long as that condition is met, this one's actually still long-term bullish, man. Nothing too wrong with this chart, to be fair. Weekly, same thing. No major issues with this one. Again, if we do start to take out like $90 on a closure, then yeah, we will have some bearish evidence, but not until then. 5-day close yesterday as well, and 5-day close on new highs, 5-day close on new all-time highs. So this would be one of the strong ones. So I also want to kind of swing this into an earlier comment where someone was saying, I need to buy the dip on Ripple to make up for my losses from, I guess, like the day prior. Well, you want to be picking the ones that were relatively strong during an event like that, because they're the ones that are most likely to do even better if and when Bitcoin, the major sort of Boris for cryptocurrency land, turns around. The old saying that my mentor taught me was the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. This one is strong. It's very much relatively strong, and when the market, if and when the market does turn around, which I do think that we're kind of setting up for a bounce right now, I'd expect this one to be one of the bigger beneficiaries of that. Avalanche is just good. It's just fucking good right here. Well, I mean, look at the monthly, man. It's just a fucking melt. It's just a melt, baby. Anyways, let's go into the lower term time frame momentum also and see if they're supportive of this as well, and if they also align with that $90 pain point. 4-hour Stokes turned down below 88.5. Okay, we're currently trading about $6 above there, or $7 above there. Hourly turned back up above 97 and a quarter. Okay, buy hourly will turn down below 100.5, and daily, what do we see? Turn down freshly below 94.5. 12-hour also will turn down or remain down below 97.5. We actually see a big split right there, which likely aligns with some rangy price action right here. If you're on the short-term time frames, what does that look like? Let's actually just rechart this specifically for the short-term timeframes. That'd be between about $100 to the upside versus, again, it's not necessarily $90 to the downside. It's more like 88 and a half. But as long as you're oscillating between there, it is a bullish setup long-term, and it is implied in the probabilities of it are, being resolved to the upside are higher. However, if you do break below 88 and a half or 89 on a 4-hour closure, I would be looking for another run at yesterday's wick low. That's going to be your $82 to $83 region. Very likely another bounce right there. And then this one would start to look more bearish, over the higher term timeframes, obviously. But until then, I think it is sideways at best here. We do see that all pretty much lower term timeframes and the higher term timeframes are not in concert with each other, which to me says consolidation before anything else. And if you start to break to the downside at that point, I'd be looking for it to join the rest of the market. But until then, one of the more stronger ones, I wouldn't necessarily get excited about this thing as long as you're below $100. Above $100, I still have the same targets that we've been having for, I guess, ever since we got into this range, which are much further higher. In fact, let's actually see where they're at right now because they would still be relevant. Again, on an actual break of that, and let's see. Oh, what do you know? We actually are kind of playing between the 618 on this extension right here and in the 1.272 actually on a closing basis. Anyways, long term, on a break of $100, I'd be looking towards a $1.20 to a $1.30ish region. It looked pretty damn good. So for right now, I do think that it is sideways at best. But if you do see Bitcoin bounce, and if you see Bitcoin actually, well, especially if it reversed, then this thing is probably gonna be one of the better ones, in my opinion. Until then, though, I probably wouldn't get too excited about it. Again, until we actually do break above $100, probably sideways at best, to be quite frank. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Avalanche. Very interesting one, though, I would say. What's up, Gordon Finch? I see you over there. Nice. Is that a pie? Is that a pie? Man, I love pie, but I cannot eat pie. It's the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing ever for my body, but I love it. My mouth absolutely loves it. What's up, Fuckro? I'm doing all right, man. I think I got a good night's sleep last night, but my speech isn't working today. I think I fucked up my ear yesterday, so... Hopefully it just figures itself out. Anyways, can you check out Luna these days? Did we stop falling down, or are we going to be testing more and more lows? Well, yeah, and it's going to depend more or less what Bitcoin does here. But of course, we can look at Luna's chart on its own and see if it fits the bill for relatively strong or relatively weak. This one, kind of par for the course, just resting on your daily 55, a little bit lower than it. So I would say that it's slightly more weak than some other things that we see in this market. But I don't like the setup right here, man. If I'm being frank with you, we see volatility taking up. We see a trend reversal. We took out the last daily higher low. We see momentum oscillators pointing down. The daily jewel got a full-on signal right around here. DMI supported. That was the 15th of November. So that was on this confirmation of lower high right there. Well, I do think that it's bouncy short term, which maybe is relevant to you, maybe not. I don't know because you did not specify a time frame. Any bounce that fails to especially get back above $48 is bearish. Again, it's just a lower high. And we already got a lower lows. And at that point, you got to look for volatility expansion to the downside. And next general set of targets would be down around $35 to $36. So this is rather important times right here. Even the weekly right now, which obviously is not closing today or anytime soon. It won't close until Sunday. We do have this in play. We do have multiple drives of bearish divergence, and that would be a doji dildo reverse right there. And next target would be more around like $34, $35, let's say, with potential extension, more long-term towards 21 if things get really nasty. Obviously, it would require Bitcoin to get down to like low $50,000 for that to be, relevant in my opinion. But short-term, just like Bitcoin, I'm probably more on the side of a bounce. Although looking at this one right here, man, this one's already weak and keeling on over. I guess I would be looking for downside continuation with the closure lower than yesterday's spike low on even an hourly, which is... where is it? It's right here. About 41, it looks like. Let me actually highlight it. Yeah, about 41.05 in that case. Looks like you even want to retest it right now too, which is just weak as fuck, man. Kind of interesting to see on Luna, which has been one of the more strong ones too. But even Luna is not safe from the market's mishaps right here. Also, daily major drives of bearish divergence come off those last few highs right there too. So, yeah, man. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case, but this one par for the course at best. What's up, Crypto Alien? Over 50 years ago, humans landed on the moon, drove around in dune buggies, and played golf. Did they really? 2021, we can't get basic shit to work. Much love, brother. I know. I know. But I think it's working now, so that's good. That's good. Thank the Lord. Thank the fucking Lord for that, man. And much love to you as well, sir. Snack says, hello, Krown, sir. Hello, Snack, sir. Glitch, GLCH, 12 and 2 day. Okay. Not so confident that there's going to be a 2 day on this chart to be looking at, but actually, yeah, it's Yeah, there's definitely a 2-day to look at right here. What does it look like right now? It does look like a bit of a major high. Daily is very obviously a major high right there. We actually don't see divergences on this one, to be fair, or do we? No, we do not. We just see a very high RSI read right there. To be fair, this one would actually fit the bill for relatively strong. You can see that it corrected down to the 21 in comparison to most other things in this market, which are down at their 55, which is Jesus, much lower than where we're at right now. Anyways, as far as the 4-hour time frame goes, I would be marking it off like this, actually, which is not going to be too helpful because it's actually rather large at 157.5 base versus your highs right here, which is about 2.5 or so. Above 2.5, I actually get bullish on this thing once again. Until then, just short term, rangy at best with short term upside implied. Be looking for a move back up to about 207, maybe even as much as 223 if things do turn up here alongside Bitcoin. But you're not concerned about that. You're on the 12-hour in 2 days. So looking at the 12-hour right now, again, I'm probably looking for a bounce first. Bounce first, die later if it does want to die at all. Yeah, I'm more likely to bounce here. And hey, if you can close even a 4-hour dildo back above about 250, I'd get bullish on this thing for new all-time highs. This one is relatively strong. Again, similar to I think it was AVAX. Yeah. Jesus, you want to close that door already? It's already so hot. Anyways, yeah, it's on the relatively strong side, I'd say for sure. But again, would I be favoring this one if Bitcoin takes another leg down? It's very difficult to be bullish on anything when Bitcoin is trending to the downside. Anyways, for what it's worth, I do still think that Bitcoin very likely does bounce here first before any sort of major continuation of new lows in this case. Anyways, Noah97 says Senso USD. Okay, SENSO. Okay, all right. Let's see. I guess KuCoin would be the one to go to for this one. And another very strong one. Holy shit, this is very impressive today. Very, very impressive. Similar to the last couple, similar to especially AVAX. I mean, this one's gonna have a chance to close on new all-time highs today. In fact, even all momentum also is a bullish here too. Hidden bullish evidence come off the lows. We see daily Jewel remains with upside posturing, supported by DMI, so it's good. Volatility is increasing as well. This one's good, man. This one's very good, relatively strong. Again, if Bitcoin does bounce, I look for something like this to be one of the bigger beneficiaries of it. I only get bearish on something like this. I only get bearish at all below essentially yesterday's spike low at 175. Below there, yeah, I look for a greater correction down to 1.5 first, bounce there, and then very likely 140 or so is where I'd be looking for on perhaps another major low. But until that happens, man, this is among the better charts that we have seen today. All momentum also is still bullish here, for which I was not expecting at all. 4 hours trending right now. 4 hours actually looking like it is breaking out right now, perhaps too. I like it, man. Wow. I was not expecting that at all. What about the weekly? Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, we're kind of getting to extremes right here, but I expect that it probably does have maybe one more try to the upside. Again, bullish, especially as long as you're above 175. Good. Very, very good right there. Very, very interesting too. Thank you for bringing up a chart like that. What's up, Tokyo Channel? It's just a pullback, bro. Everyone relax. Yeah. Well, to be fair, is it just a pullback right now? We'll come back to that one later, I think. All right, cool. Let's see. Can you take a look at the? Yes. We'll take a look at this chart right here, USD versus the yen, which we've been bullish on for a very long time here, and I think I'll still be bullish on it for a long time to come as well. Let's see where we're at right now. Yeah, looking real strong right there. Real fucking. Oh my lord, man. Yeah, the dollar is absolutely killing it right now. I'd be looking for a weekly continuation to about 115.5, maybe a bit of a short-term pullback right there. But this thing is bullish long-term. And when I say long-term, I don't even mean a monthly, which the monthly is certainly bullish right here and, very likely going to work its way up to 118.5 highs before the next sort of monthly pullback. Again, not to be confused with the weekly pullback, but here's your quarterly, and the quarterly is very obviously reversal. It's a breakout on a reversal. If anything, volatility on the quarterly is also ticking up right now as well, alongside hidden bullish divergence on the last quarterly low. This is very, very good. Again, I would not be surprised long term. So now we're talking maybe like a year, maybe a year and a half down the road to see this one back around your April 2015 highs. And that reminds me to look at Dixie right here as well, which is obviously going to be looking pretty damn good, which we did call a major macro low coming into, hey, let me actually select it right there. Coming into, I believe it was September. On that closure right there. Yeah, that is about as obvious as it gets. And same sort of setup right here, actually. You do see hidden bullish divergence come off that last low. You do see that it's also popping above your, the median of your range highs. And this is all coming on very, very low volatility. So I'm looking for this one to trade its way back up towards 100, maybe 100 plus within the next year. This is very, very strong. Very, very good. Wonder where that guy is who's giving me a lot of shit for being bullish on this thing. Wonder where he is now. Anyways, overall, still looking for a more short-term continuation. And when I say short-term, I'm talking about a weekly right here. So, relevancy obviously is going to be the name of the game. But still looking for short-term continuation somewhere around about 97, let's call it, and a bit of a pullback right there for the weekly. And then long-term continuation obviously implied as this one's just a melt up right now. It's good. Very, very good. What's up? More MV1 wrecked. Yeah, man. A little bit of wrecked on the stream right there. Apologies again on that. What's up, Rolando? You're looking at storage. Okay, symbol STORJ. Yeah, remember this one from 2017. I'm curious to see where this one is now. Did it survive the crypto winters? Actually not as bad as what I would have expected right here, but certainly not good either. Just kind of retesting around its 2017, 2018 highs. So I wouldn't say that it's strong for this market, nor is it super weak. At least it's not like well below its 2017 highs. Just got 2 there. Anyways, you are looking at an hourly and 4 hour. Can it reach 186 short term? That's quite a move here for... That would be quite a move here for something that's trading at 163. If you're looking for a short-term move, I mean, just measuring this one out, that would be... what, right around here, 14.25% move. I don't know what you mean by short term, but if you're talking about like on the next 4 hourly close, well, I mean, you kind of also already tested around there. No, in fact, if anything, I'm looking for this one to come back down to base, man. Short term, I'm looking for this one to come back down based off of that hidden bearish evidence right there, back down to about 158, maybe 155 or so, somewhere around there, and then try for a bounce. At that point, do I think that it'll have a chance? It'll have a chance, yeah. And if the question is quite literally, can it reach that? Yes. But again, if Bitcoin ain't bouncing, I would not expect this one to bounce either. Now, you do have a few good things going on here on the 4 hour that do support your case. You do have some hidden bullish evidence being formulated right there. It's not a super strong drive, to be fair. And the 4 hour jewel has lots of downside posturing and might even get an upside signature there soon too. If that would happen, yeah, I would say 185 to 190 is where I'd be looking towards. This one, to be fair, did not break down as much as the rest of the market yesterday, which is a good sign. But very, very short-term timeframes, I do think are going to grind the lows once again, and then I'd be looking for the bounce, kind of similar to Bitcoin in this case. If you see Bitcoin back above $60,000, you can probably look for that target on this asset. But really interesting one here too, because it does have several things that do suggest that it is a little bit more on the relatively strong side, at least for the short-term timeframes here, just for the simple fact that it did not sell off as hard as most of the market yesterday, which is a good sign. I actually kind of would be leaning towards that. I just don't know what is short-term to you. If you literally mean within the next 4 hours, no. If you mean within the next like day to day and a half, yeah, I do think that it'll have a chance right there. Hey, what's up, Toby? It's been a while, man. Hope everything's well over there. Have you looked at Hex on the daily and 4 hour? I have not in a while. We hit my 20-cent target. We hit my 14-cent target. Let's see where we're at now. And I saw this one was on the winners list today, but probably doesn't deserve to be there because this is droopy as all fuck. That is not good. Short-term bouncy, yes. Might tag back up to 23 cents, above 23 cents. I'd actually be looking for retests around your quarter dollar levels. But I do have to remain with what I've been saying for a while now, in the sense that I'm heavily bearish on this asset below 33 cents and looking for this one to not just retest lows over time, but maybe over the next few months, probably make significantly new lows, below 10 cents. Until then, short term is a bouncy, probably yes. It's you got some more, you got a lot more bouncy things going on here than not. So we'll have a chance. I'd remain open minded about something like this, obviously. But until you really even get above, it's really even got to get above like 27 to 28 cents for it to look even like this could be a potential low right here for your higher term time frames. And then you still got 33 cents to deal with. Above 33 cents, I'd actually flip around to full on bullish. I'd be looking for not just a retest of all-time highs, but new all-time highs over time. Until that happens, though, this is still long-term not great. Yeah, 5 day, same thing over here as well. I think that this one very likely retests below 20 cents before you have anything resembling like a potential major macro low. Weekly, same thing, more likely to bounce off those regions, but do we retest down to them? I do think so, yes. Yeah, 2 days kind of breaking down here as well. So very, very short term, very likely bounces up somewhere around about 23 cents. After that, I'd probably be looking for maybe one more grind to the low side, and then if you're going to see the real bounce, that's where it'd very likely come towards. To be fair, though, the 2 day is a full-on bear setup, but I don't trust that signature right there. Yeah. The easy trade is above 33 cents, and at that point, this thing's going to fucking run, I suppose. But until then, Difficult chart right there. Difficult chart to love. I mean, that is a parabolic blow off top, man. It's kind of difficult to love right there. Curious how far down it's gone thus far. About 72%. So I guess that is kind of par for the course on a parabolic blow off top. So maybe it actually has seen the lows. I guess that'd be the more bullish look on it. But no talks of like any macro lows as long as you're below 33 cents. Until then, just short-term time frames looking for a bit of a bouncy. What's up, Gemini Athlete? Matic daily, weekly, and monthly. Okay. Can you check the moon on Bitcoin? Can I check the moon? Like the moon's channel? Like Carl? I wasn't planning on it. Or do you mean like the moon indicator? The moon indicator, we don't have a new or a full moon until I think the 19th. We actually looked at it earlier this week, if that's what you're looking at. It actually won't even tell you on the chart itself. The day has to populate first before it gets shown on the chart. Anyways, looking at Matic right here, and I suppose we could do a video on this one. Oh, wow, it actually did break below about 160. Not good on that one. You know, again, same thing as Bitcoin. It's like, I can't really be looking for a full-on melt to the downside just yet until we actually close below yesterday's low. That's going to be about 146 in this case. You did break your major ranges from the days prior, however, so that is obviously not going to be long-term good. And I'm curious how this one does affect the higher-term timeframes. The 5 just correcting the 21 thus far. Same thing with the weekly as well. We do have some bearish divergence right there. You're looking at a monthly as well. Let's see what this one looks like on a monthly. Monthly, not so bad. Monthly actually would say any sort of a move down to like 135, which would have been which is the target based off of the break of yesterday's call. Yeah, which we got not that close to just yet. That would actually be a major area to be aware of for, at the very minimum, a big bounce and perhaps even a macro low. I actually don't hate the monthly right here. The monthly is actually still good long term. If you're asking about a weekly, let's see where we're at in the weekly right here. Weekly, you know, more in a bouncy area than not. I do think this 140 area is going to be a bounce to necessarily get down all the way to 130 or 135, or I think it was 135 before the big bounce. Daily, not great. Definitely not great right there. Again, easier to watch Bitcoin in this case. Short term, more bouncy than not. Not necessarily on its own, because you don't even have bullish evidence on a 4 hour. Jesus Christ, man, just wrecked. 3 hour, what do we see right there? Same. I mean, you do have some bullish evidence for me right there, but not actionable until you actually trade back above 156. Above there, yeah, do you look for a short-term bounce back up to yesterday's daily low level, which was 161 to 162 region. Above there, you know, probably get another short-term time frame rally, but this one, you know, you're on. It's on lower high watch anywhere below $2. So not great for right now, man. Gonna require a very strong broad market in order for this thing to do anything of worth. Yeah, not acting as one of the strong, not what you would expect on something like this, which was one of the better ones, especially earlier this year. Very interesting, very interesting to me. I think we'll have to come back to that one actually later this week. I do think if it does get a big bounce, where would I start to get bullish on this one back again? Yeah, $2 is the obvious area, but even as long as you're below about 180, it's kind of hard to love short term. Philson wants to look at AXS. Yeah, we can look at AXS. We can actually record this one as well. I'm curious to see what AXS is doing today or over the last 24 hours. Yeah, it did correct down a little bit as well. All right, let's see where we're at here. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, almost hit our target out of the breakout, or did we? Close, but no cigar. 171 versus 180. Fair enough. All right, here we have Axie Infinity, symbol AXS versus the dollar. And what do we have right here? Well, to be fair, actually is holding up relatively well compared to most other things in this market. However, where does it start to fall apart? Below 120 in this case on a daily closure. Below there, I look for this one to take another leg down, somewhere around your $105 to $110 base. It's going to start to look, you know, a lot more like a macro high after that. Until then, where would I start to get bullish on this one once again? It starts to look really good on a daily closure back above about 153. Looking for new highs after that. Still looking at, you know, I guess 170 to 180-ish regions where I'd be looking towards. This one's, I mean, it almost feels like a guilty pleasure looking at this one just because it has been so up and to the right over time. But for right now, you know, do have to be on continuation watch to the downside as yeah, it's not one of the super strong ones like AVAX that we saw earlier, which was already making new all-time highs, and a few of the other more obscure altcoins. In this case right here, a closure below about 120 is going to look really bad long term. Again, would imply continuation down to about a $1.05, $1.10 region, very likely a bounce there, and then continuation, you know, well below $100 if that were to be hit. Until then, short-term timeframes, are we bouncy or no? Yeah, we are a little bit more bouncier short term. Maybe one more grind of the current lows, somewhere around about 130 or so, or just below 130. But ultimately, I do think that this one will bounce before any sort of major potential long-term continuation of the downside. Same thing as Bitcoin, right? So, you know, I'll say the same thing as I've said on many other altcoins here. It's easier to watch Bitcoin in these cases. Higher term time frames like a 5-day, which just closed yesterday, are more indicative of a top than not. We do see some bearish divergence between this high and this high that we just put in yesterday. I guess not concluding that as one just yet. Weekly should probably have it as well. Yeah, we'll have it as well. So any sort of a weekly closure below that 125 region, and this one very, very likely does put in a major top right here and works its way down, at minimum just below $100. Still one of the best ones long term, but I guess it's not really immune from the market's moves. And again, short term, I'd be looking for a bit of a bounce here. But let's see if the 618 actually lines with where I'd be looking towards. Yeah, exactly right there. 150. 150 is kind of the area to be watchful of. Above 150, I do get bullish on this one once again. I would feel comfortable saying that. Until then, just short term sideways, probably a bit of a bouncy bounce. And then, well, just be aware of that area. If you fail to get back above there, I would be switching a little more onto the bearish side, as that would be your next higher low, or sorry, your next lower high. And we already got a lower low, so that would be a reversal right there. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Axie Infinity, sir. What's up, Gemini Athlete? Can you show a top pattern to look for? A top pattern to look for? Well, a very obvious one would be back on over here on our last major topping formation, which was in March, April, May. Coming off these highs right here, right? So what kind of defines this as a topping formation? Well, the first and most obvious thing, and the thing that matters the most, is trend, right? So if you were on this channel during this time, which I believe you were, we said as soon as this one did take out that 55,500 level right here, that higher low, it was time to be now on guard for the lower high and potentially a major macro reversal, which is what we did get a little bit later. Now, it did take time, so understand that the market doesn't get resolved in one day here. And from that next low to next high, that was quite some time. I mean, we're talking about from late April, so about April 21st to 24th, and our next lower high was put in on 10th of May. So we're talking about 2 to 3 weeks after that. So it very likely does take time. Anyways, what other things can you be looking for on a major high like this? Well, the most obvious one is also going to be daily bearish divergence, of which we had multiple drives coming off those highs at much lower RSI levels right there. Daily jewel also turned down as well. But if you just want to make it as simple as possible, it's going to be the daily trend in this case. And if you look at this right here, in fact, I should actually record this. Should I record this? Should I not record this? Yeah, let's record it. All right. We have a great question here from Mr. Gemini Athlete MMA, and he is asking essentially what to look for in a major market high, of which we could be looking at one right here. But I would say that it's not necessarily confirmed just yet. We do have the etchings of it, but again, needs a little more work before it becomes super actionable. Now, I'll bring you back to the last time we had something very obvious like this here. And the most important thing, the one thing to rule them all is, as always, trend. The most simplistic thing, but for whatever reason, people always want to discount it. Anyways, in my opinion, they discount it to their dismay. Looking at it right on over here, what do we have? Okay, so this was obviously an uptrend pretty much the whole way through until what point? Well, where is our higher lows? Coming in right here at 55,500. And the second that it took out that area to the downside on this first major meltdown move, it is time to now be a little more on guard. Obviously, it puts in its next lower low right here. And then what happens after that? Then it is time to be on lower high watch. And we obviously get that right here. Where does that lower high come in around? Well, in this case, I do like to use Fibonacci retracements from the high to the low of that prior move. And typically you will see those lower highs come in somewhere around the 618 Fibonacci retracement right there. Also, as far as momentum oscillators go, we do see daily bearish divergence, many drives coming off the highs right there. And even the daily jewel was turning down as well and giving a full on bearish signature. So let's compare that with what we're looking at right now here too. Okay, so where's our last higher low before our current one, which is a lower low? It'd be right here. So we already have lower lows, right? So now it is time to be on lower high watch. Now, as you'll see, it does take some time. It does take some time. In this case, the low was put in about the third week of April, around April 23rd to 24th. And then the next lower high was put in on May 10th to May 11th. So about 3 weeks between those 2 points. And right now we're just getting our first lower low right here. So it is time to be on lower high watch. And if we do get a lower high, where would you kind of expect it to be around? Somewhere around the 618 Fibonacci retracement, which is just around $65,000 or so, which is also in line with this lower high, right? Or sorry, with with this spike high right here. I wouldn't necessarily call this a lower high. It doesn't. It would be on a 12-hour, but not on a daily. And we're specifically talking about a daily right here, which I do believe represents, you know, the greater trend for Bitcoin in this case. So, you know, can this take some time before we see this next bouncy bounce? Assuming that we do get a bouncy bounce right around here, probably yes. But assuming that the bounce, or not assuming, but if the bounce just fails to reclaim this area over here, let's say within the next 3 to 4 weeks, kind of running off those same sort of time frame schedules, well, I will turn very, very bearish on this asset. And when I say very bearish on this asset, I just mean for the daily. I wouldn't necessarily call a macro reversal here just yet. But next sort of targets to the downside on a continuation drive would be about $54,000. Do I think that things would stop there? Very likely a bounce there. Maybe a potential major low. Definitely possible. And then below there, I'd be looking somewhere around about 48 to 50,000 bucks. Actually, I know that people will say that your last major high over here should be your next major low. You know, I get that. I'm definitely aware of that sort of mentality, but on a spike low, I'd probably be looking somewhere right around here and then close back above like 51 or 52, something like that. That would look like a major macro low in this case. Until that happens, though, you know, for right now, I do think it's a lot more likely to bounce right here. And then we get to play the game over the next few weeks. Does it actually reclaim 65 or not? If it does, hey, full bull ahead. We can talk about plan B targets yet again. And I guess it would still make sense. But until then, it would be a little more on edge, no doubt about that, as we do have potentially a major reversal staring us in front of our very faces. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for, that question. Nice one, man. All right, cool. Let's see. King Tavares Boss says, can you look at QRDO? Yes, QRDO. Okay, let's see what we got over here on Finex. Toppy as fuck, man. There's not much of a history to be looking at right here, to be fair. It's only been around since, a little bit a little bit over a month, about a month and a half now. But for the history that we do have, this is looking like a major top right here. Short term, is it bouncy? Could bounce back up to $8. I'm not saying that it will, but if it, even below $8, one's still bearish, and short-term timeframes are not even showing that right now here anyways. In fact, if anything, the hourly is showing another move back down to about $7 and probably tries for a bounce there. After that, any bounce that fails to get back above, again, about 8.25. I'm looking for this one to come down significantly further, somewhere down around about $6 or so. This one does look a lot more toppy than most other things. We should have bearish evidence on the 12-hour. We do. We even have a head and shoulders right there as well. I'm a lot more inclined to say that this one does trade further south after maybe a short-term bouncy, assuming that Bitcoin does begin with, which Bitcoin doesn't, then everything else comes down with it, as you very likely know. Let's see. More MV1 says, Vegas here, brother. What's up, man? Internet is all good. Shit. Well, it looks like mine's not, because it's turned to red again. My God, man. Why is this happening? Why do you do this to me today, YouTube? This would be like the worst day to do it on, because this is like, it's like actually an important day for Bitcoin. This is actually an important day. Anyways, can you do PYR/USD? Sure. PYR. Okay. PYR/USD. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen this one. Vulcan Forged on Coin. Okay. And also not a bad chart, in fact. One of the more strong ones. As you can see, it's already pretty much recovered. Very, very good. I was not expecting that at all, man. The Boofering, yeah. Look, man, this one's good. This one's good as long as you're above $18. That is a very strong response. This one would fit the bill as relatively strong. Yes, you are still ranging on the daily, but this one is implied bullishness here. As far as probability goes, but do need to still see it break above 22 3/4. Above there, I look for another drive to new all-time highs. Obviously, in this case, probably looking at a move somewhere around about $27. Just doing some bad mental math right there on the current range. Of course, if you do break below yesterday's low, even just trade below it, I would be looking for this one to fall apart with the rest of the market, somewhere down around $13.90 to $14. Very likely a bounce there, and then come back to it after that. But for what it's worth, man, this one of the better actors here. Definitely one of the better actors. Again, the question is, if Bitcoin does fail to bounce from this, from its current levels, is this one gonna salvage itself again? I would hold my, my enthusiasm with that until proven otherwise. But again, as long as it's kind of awesome between here, generally good. Below yesterday's low, very bad. Above 22 3/4. I would be looking for a breakout to 27 to $28 or so, actually. Look very, very good. What's up, Mr. BK? Yep, we already did Luna, and all good there. FA says, good morning from SoCal. What's up, man? It's me again, sir. What's up, man? How is Block holding this bounce? Well, let's see. All right, we got Blocktopia over here. How is Block holding this bounce? it's just kind of trading sideways to be fair, but let's see. How do we look like on the daily? Did not get hit as much as the rest of the market yesterday, to be fair, but I still remain with what I've been saying on this one. It's very difficult to get excited about this one as long as you're below 9.9 cents. I understand that's not your exact question. Your exact question is, how is it holding the bounce? So far, so good, I would say. If you are on the low term timeframes, which I actually do think are relevant for this one particularly, I actually do look at this one as short-term good, especially as long as you hold 7.7 cent, and short-term probably does trade back up towards 8.5 cent or so. Again, that doesn't really mean anything for the medium or especially higher-term timeframes, but short-term actually is holding up a lot better than most of the other things in this market. Bullish evidence come off the hourly lows. Hourly jewel is not really a signal right there, so no, I'll hold off on that. Buy hourly, not giving me anything. Very, very interesting to see that it did not. I mean, it's a good sign that it obviously didn't get like absolutely smashed yesterday. But what I would say is below 7.7, I'd be looking at a nice run down to 6.9 to 7 cents even, something like that. Until then, short term, probably looking at sideways and up. Again, if Bitcoin can bounce here, this one probably does do okay. Just wouldn't get too excited about it as long as you're below about 9.8. Above 9.8, good, very, very good. Well, at least for the medium term time frames, probably back up to like 12 cents or so, somewhere around there. Let's see. I'm bearish bias, but it wants to give another push towards 10 cents. I mean, possibly yes, but that's, well, again, easier to watch Bitcoin in that case, man. I don't know if I'd be that optimistic. Short term, yes, but there's a big difference between 10 cents and 8.5 cent on a 8 cent number, right? I mean, that is rather a major move right there. What's up, Robert Drew? Good morning, sir. What's up, man? Can you check out sand? Yes, we can definitely look at sand. In fact, I remember this one was looking really good on the top 10 winners list from this morning. So let's see where it's at right now. Yeah, making new highs. So again, another example of a relatively strong coin, and we'll record this one. Here we have Sandbox symbol SAND versus the dollar. We have another example of a relatively strong coin right here. While the rest of the market, by the way, if you're unaware, we're recording this video the day after about a $10,000 drop in Bitcoin. This thing is actually making new all-time highs. Closed on new all-time highs yesterday. Beautiful. Corrected down to the 21. Big move off. That's excellent right there. All momentum oscillators are bullish for what it's worth right now, and volatility is ticking up right here as well, alongside a jewel signature. So I actually do look for this one to very likely trade sideways and up from here. Looking at a 4-hour time frame. What do we see? Hidden bullish evidence come off the lows. We see volatility expanding. Same thing going on over here. I think this one's actually trending right now, perhaps. See, what did the 5-day close like yesterday? Obviously on new highs as well. Any sort of short-term corrections down to just below $3 is fair game, but doesn't really destroy the long-term good picture of this one. The only way that I get bearish on this thing is a move below yesterday's spike low. It doesn't even need to close below there, but a move below there would do it for me. I'd look for a bit of a collapse after that, down to about 190 or so, and very likely a bounce there, and then we'll come back to it after that. Until that happens, though, sand, pretty damn good. I'm curious just to see what it looks like over here, just in case. Let's see, 12-hour is going to be freshly crossing up above 320, so good. Daily is also freshly up above $3 and playing out a nice trend line right here, also good. 4-hour is same thing, also up, very, very good. Dare I say it, man, this one's one of the better charts that we've seen today. Let's see. Where am I looking for on a continuation drive from this little formation right here? I suppose we'll do some like this. And I guess that this is active as long as you especially remain above, especially $3 in this case. And that would have an implied target of about $4, which is kind of fucking crazy on this thing. That is quite a move right there. I don't know if I'd feel too confident about that if Bitcoin were to fall apart again. But, you know, if Bitcoin bounces here, does this thing be one of the bigger beneficiaries of that? Yeah, very, very likely, yes. So, again, you know, assuming that Bitcoin bounces, then this one, you know, probably going to be one of the better ones to be looking at for the time being. Other than that, I don't really have too much else to be adding, but very interesting to see a chart like this, especially after a mostly red day amongst the general market here. This would be relatively strong yet again, and hopefully that's helpful for Sandbox, sir. Nice one, man. Jack, there he is. What's up, man? Ethereum, Bitcoin. Yes, we can definitely do that one. I'm curious to see where this one is right now. It looks like we're going to be taking the southern road on this one. Uh-oh. Don't break below 6.9 million Satoshis, please. Don't do it, baby. Don't fucking do it. It's right there, man. And this is not a strong formation right there, to be fair. But short term, it is bouncy. You're looking at a 4-hour and daily. 4 hours bouncy right here, too. Yeah. Do we have some hidden bullish evidence forming itself? No, we do not, because we have a downtrend on the 4 hours. So that cannot even be possible to begin with. Let's see if we can find a time frame that will confirm my biases. But no, I'm actually having a difficult time finding that. 5-day, what did we close like yesterday? 5-day close like a local high, man. I guess Can't love that one. Can't love it for right now. I probably do look for a little bit of a leg down to 6.8 million Satoshis. What does the weekly look like? Still not super bad here. I'm a lot more inclined to say that it's going to bounce from its current level right here. Maybe after one more swipe. Sorry, it's not 6.8, but 6.9 million Satoshis. I do think that you can swipe that area a few more times. Somewhere down around here is fair game. Still can't get too excited about it as long as you're below 7.4 million Satoshis in this case. I'm curious, do we see anything that is going to help us out over here perhaps? Let's see. Okay, 4 hour is down as long as below 707 in this case. So not too relevant for right now. Daily is down as long as below 727. What about the hourly? Come on, hourly. Give us some 6.9 in this case. Not giving me too much work off right there, man. I do think that it probably grinds out this area a little bit more, but I would be looking for a bounce before any sort of potential major breakdown. But you do have to be kind of on lower high watch now, don't you? You can still play the range, though, to be fair. Kind of splitting hairs here. But perhaps I'm letting my biases get in the way on this one because, while short term it probably does bounce from here, you know, there's a lot of things suggesting that it does come down further south. So in this case, I'm going to take the weasel way out on this one, but I'd still wait for an actual break of your range lows. In this case, it's going to be about 6.92 million Satoshis. At that point, yes, there's no more excuse to be made on this one. Yes, you're going to see some bounce along the way, probably around 6.7. And then after that, well, you got 6.4, 6.5, and that one better hold. Otherwise, you do lose your long-term upturn right there now, don't you? So yeah, man. Coming into a major area right now. Hopefully that's helpful though, sir. Let's see. Human V1 says Opal, O-P-U-L. Okay. A lot of new ones today, which is very strange, but let's see. And another new one that's Moon and Beyond. What the hell? What the actual fuck? Very interesting right there. Let's see. What time frames are we looking at? 4 hour and daily. Daily is getting a little bit toppy. Bless you there, sir. Let's see. Daily will have some bearish divergence at some point. The question is it put in a top right here or not? And technically speaking, no, it's not just yet. It will confirm a top here with even I'm gonna guess like a 4 hour closure below about 5. Let's call it 573 in this case. Below 573, yes, I would call a top. Until then, there's actually still continuation right here, to be fair, even on the 4 hour. Let's see if momentum oscillators agree with this one as well, but this is very bizarre to see. You typically don't see this thing after Bitcoin getting absolutely smacked on the face. 4 hour is up as long as above 603. Okay, so we'll very likely have one more chance to new highs. 12 hour turns down below 632, and daily also turns down below 640. I do think this one's a lot closer to like a major high than not. I would like to see those criteria confirmed first. So that would either be a 12 hour below, I believe it was about 630, or a daily below 640, or a 4 hour below, and the 4 hour range is like a lot greater. It's going to be below about let's go back to running over here. Where was it? About 580. Yeah, it's a lot lower in that case. If one of those three things gets hit, I would be calling a major high on this one. You know, you do see extreme conditions on your volatility reads over here, so I do think it's a lot closer to putting in a major high. But hey, if Bitcoin does put in a nice bounce, I imagine this one probably does run for some new highs until then. I guess I should remain bullish on it until those criteria are met. And I suppose I'd be looking, we've already hit the 414 in this case. I guess I'd be looking for the next drive, assuming that it does have one, somewhere, Jesus Christ, man, 740 to 750 does not seem right, to be honest with you. But hey, if Bitcoin does get a bounce, I guess this one can run. Until then, short term, it really does look like it's putting a high right here, man. I feel like I'm feeding you hopium right now. Because these are just rules that I have for myself, but goddamn, man, this one really does look short-term toppy at the very least. I'd even say an hourly closure below 620 is probably going to do it, man. It's probably going to do it and work its way down below $6 after that over the next week or so. What's up, Kathleen White? Hi from Puerto Rico. Hey, nice. All right, sweet. Can you look at Mana 4 hour and daily? Yeah, I'd actually be very interested to see where this one is today. Again, one of the more strong ones over the past couple months here. Or I guess past month. Yeah, I'm still holding it up relatively well here. In fact, I'm going to record a video on this one. Here we have Decentraland symbol MANA versus the dollar. We've been following up on this one for the last few weeks here. Very, very good chart, obviously. And this one holding up relatively well compared to the rest of this market, especially all things considered coming in from yesterday's major massive dump for good old Bitcoin right there. Still, though, I would hold off on getting super excited about this thing as long as you're closing dailies below 360. Above 360 on a daily closure, yeah, I do look for this one to play out the implied target. Somewhere around about 4.5 to 475. Maybe the week or two following that. Looking at lower term time frames right here. a little bit sideways at best for the time being. And if we go over to the 5-day, which just closed last night, we did close on new all-time highs. So I'm not bearish on something like this long term. I just imagine that if Bitcoin does put in a big bounce here, or especially if it reverses, this one's going to be one of the better actors through all of that. So it's one of the ones to be watching here. But again, I also have to ask myself, if Bitcoin does break down further, is this thing likely to, well, break out to the upside? Probably not. No. Is it likely to, at best, trade sideways and down? Probably yes. Where to get bearish on it? Same thing as before, you know, below your range lows, in this case 222. Yes, I would get bearish on it, looking for big moves down somewhere around about $1.50, and you know, come back to it after that. Until then, sideways within this range is long-term good for it. The question is, will Bitcoin allow it to continue on with its little party right here? Maybe we can just briefly check out its momentum. Also, it is here too. Let's see. Daily, what do we see right here? Daily looks really fucking good. Daily looks really fucking good. It's breaking back in the bullish control zone. Remains with upside position as long as above 302. What about 12 hour? 12 hour turns up above 330, which it's actually rather close to right now. 4 hour remains up above 295, and hourly, what are you doing? We'll turn back up above 340. So very short term sideways, but you know, be aware of those major areas, because this one is still showing long-term very, very good things here. I mean, even the 5-day, which just closed yesterday, is with upside position above 208. I mean, that is really, really good. I still think, or at least I'd still hold my reservations that if Bitcoin at least fails to hold, I don't think that this one would necessarily break out, but if Bitcoin can just hold and even put in a bounce, this one very likely does break out and goes for this next set of targets. Again, among some of the better charts in cryptocurrency land on all higher term timeframes especially. Here's your monthly, by the way, as well. And that's just generally good, man. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Mana. Sweet. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Crypto Chrissy? Good morning, TM. Hey, no problem. No problem. I apologize that the fidelity of this stream right now is like not too high. Anyways, you're looking at FTM. Okay, FTM Phantom. And yesterday, I think that we were calling a bit of a high on this one, and yeah, still looking like a high right here. All right. Should we record one for Phantom or not? Nah, fuck it, no, we'll hold off on that one. Or let me just see how many videos I got for today. I don't want to overload too much with too many videos. Let's see, we're on the 17th day, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that's enough for right now. Phantom, yeah, I do think that we're going to be, this is looking like a major high right here. Yes, you are right on your range lows, and technically speaking, I should not be looking for, you know, continuation of the downside until we actually officially break it. And just kind of like Bitcoin, you know, oh my God, oh my Lord, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, that is a weird looking 4 hour right there. You know, just like Bitcoin, probably likely to bounce from here. If you could check out the last little 4 hour high on that bounce, I'd be looking for the bounce to get extended somewhere around about $2.50. But I think this one's sideways at best, and honestly, I don't think that this one is going to reverse from here. Anything that fails to reclaim 314 is just another lower high. Could that come in between like 280 to maybe even $3 even? Yes. So if you do see any sort of weakness around that region, that would be kind of like my next major signal to say, hey, this one's very likely heading further south. In this case, you know, your next major targets would be about 175. 5 day right here is looking like a bit of a, yeah, is looking like a local high. I'm sure that we have some bearish divergence as well. No, we do not, but we do have a head and shoulders on 5 day RSI, and that's probably going to be good enough for one more drive to the downside at like 180 to 185 or so over time. Maybe one short-term bounce in between there. Again, these things can take time, as we looked at on Bitcoin, obviously, but just be aware that as long as this one is again below 314. Hard to be looking for a long-term continuation of the upside. I think it's corrective at best, but again, you know, long-term, to be fair, I mean, this is a great chart long-term. A correction down to even like 92, even like 92 to a buck would be like long-term very, very good. I mean, that's where you're looking for your higher lows on the weekly, to be fair. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful on that one. Fucking by the dip says, is my Mana still stinky? Yeah, actually, I do think that it is. Definitely one of the better ones, but again, I hesitate to get bullish on some if Bitcoin is, well, if Bitcoin's not going to be, but again, Bitcoin bouncy very likely helps out Mana quite a fair bit, as that one's looking very, very good long term. Kyle Yale says, hey Krown, what's up, man? Can you check out Algorand? Just a general overview of how it's holding up. Okay, all right, let's check out this one. I remember this one was kind of approaching my major area from the day prior, and yeah, we did take it out. So this one is operating on lower lows right now as well, similar to Bitcoin, right? So where was your last higher low coming into this one? Right here. You took out, obviously you closed on a lower low right there. Yes, it's probably going to bounce off of this 155 level yet again. However, do have to be on lower high watch, as you know, similar to the other ones. Can't that essentially implies that can't really get excited about this thing as long as below about 215, our breakout level from, I think it was like a week prior when I recorded a video on this one. So still remains to be, yeah, still kind of struggling right there. And where's your 618 Fibonacci retracement? It's right at 195 to $2 or so. So as long as you're below there, it is just another lower high, and I would be erring on the bearish side. But short term, similar to Bitcoin, more likely to look for a bounce off this region first. Maybe one more test of yesterday's low. I think that's completely fine, but lower term time frame should be building up some sort of divergences here. Well, they are, but already fallen on over. Holy shit. Weak as all hell. Bi-hourly, yep. Okay, we're getting some right there. What about the 3 hour? Let's see. Yeah, a little bit building up right there. And then the 4 hour, we do not see on Bitcoin. Do we see it here? No, still not here as well. So again, maybe a little more hang at the current lows, but I really do think that Bitcoin's going to bounce from its current area right now before any sort of potential major meltdown. I think regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, Bitcoin kind of bounces here. And then, you know, if we put in a lower high, you know, somewhere below about, what was it, 65, or on this thing below about $2 essentially, that's at the point where, you know, I do look at it as like an actionable, okay, we're probably going to break down to major new lows in this case. Until then, sideways within this range is still to be considered like okay if you want to make some excuses for it. I don't think it's appropriate right now, to be honest with you. And the 5 day is also, yeah, nuts. But bouncy for right now. Give it a chance after that. And then if it fails below that region, then at that point I'm looking for, you know, much deeper drives to the downside. But it's going to be easier to watch on Bitcoin. And obviously this is not going to happen all in the same day as well, or very unlikely to happen in the same day. Anyways, Bernie DMD says, hey, sweet man, Pomeranians rule. Well, Jesus Christ, man, you just went over Elsa right there. We were actually watching some golden retriever videos last night. Man, those dogs are just the best. Those dogs are just so regal. They're like kingly looking. What's up, Raj? ALBT, please 4 hour and daily. Let's see how this one's holding up during this whole little corrective phase that we got going on right now on Finex. And what do we have right here? Not as bad as would have expected, but I do think that this one does have a little bit of short-term downside, down to about 87.5 cent. Very likely tries for a bounce somewhere right around there on the daily. 4 hour, same thing. I don't super hate it right here. It's not strong nor weak, just kind of par for the course in this case. Probably looking for bounces somewhere in the like I said, mid 80s, was it? Yeah, mid to upper 80s, like 87 cent to 88 cent is where I'd be looking towards. To be fair, like this is still okay long term as far as this whole consolidation goes right here. Sorry, we just need 2 trend lines right here between here and here, and you actually still do have a daily uptrend for what it's worth as well, which is actually worth quite a fair bit. I'd really not get concerned about this thing below 85 cents on a daily. Below there, yeah, this starts to look a lot more like some distributive phase going on, and probably looking at another run towards your prior lows of the range, about 71 to 72 cents, but until then, I give it a bit of a chance right there. Not super bad, all things considered, actually. And would even have some hidden bullish divergence if it can put in a local low right here, as it's making significantly lower lows on RSI. Again, that would imply it should not break down below 85 cents. Otherwise, that is no longer legitimate. Let's see. Robert Johnson wants to look at Tesla short-term timeframes. Sure, sir. Let's see. TLSA. And we got NASDAQ over here. What do short-term timeframes mean for you? For me, in traditional markets, that it really means like a 5-minute, but I'm guessing you probably mean like an hourly. I like it right here for a little bit of a short-term low. I do think that it trades back up somewhere around your prior hourly range highs, which is about 1100 or so. That would be confirmed and look a lot better with an hourly closure above the 55 right here, which is 1063 in this case. Until then, a little bit short-term bouncy. You know, looking at daily RSI right here, we put in any sort of divergences. Actually, yes. Holy shit, yes. That is rather profound. We made such lower lows on RSI compared to all of the other daily higher lows. Wow. Jesus Christ, man. That one has higher lows as long as you're above 850. So likely to bounce here, man. Yeah, 4 hour, same thing as well, man. I'm probably looking for this one to bounce back up towards 1100 or so. Above 1100, I do extend those, I do extend that target quite a fair bit towards 1160 to 1170 or so. But until that happens, we still do have lower term time from lower highs. So hard to love on the very low term time frames, just short term bouncy bounce. Let's see, what else do we have over here? Venom Incorporated. What's up, man? QNT for the long and short term. Don't know what that means to you, but I'm going to go with a 4 hour and a daily because that's usually what people ask for. And fair enough, man. 4 hour, don't love it. Daily, also don't love it. I think sideways at best, man. Sideways at best. And I feel like that's a bit of hoping right here. But hey, just like Bitcoin, right? I wouldn't necessarily be looking for like a meltdown thing though. There is nothing to be excited about on this thing at all whatsoever, as long as you're below about 319 to 320. Above there, yeah, you can look for a new all-time high party again, and this thing starts to look really, really good long term if that's what you're concerned with. But for right now, you know, you do have your lower highs, you do have your lower lows, and while you're on your range lows right now and probably going to test it again, I probably would be looking for another bounce around there, and then maybe and then assuming that Bitcoin puts in its own lower high, you know, maybe in a few weeks, then maybe this thing does break down. But for right now, you know, just short term, just showing a little bit of downside. I would, I guess, look for the breakdown on this one specifically if you do see a 12-hour or daily closure below about 240. If that happens, I am looking for big moves down. In this case, I mean, big moves down means somewhere between about 190 and 205 or so. Would not look good. But until that happens, you know, you can make some excuses for it, I guess. If Bitcoin bounces here, probably helps it out a little bit, and I do think that this one's more likely to bounce off this area first before anything else, but bounce does not imply reversal. Reversal is only confirmed above 319. Until then, not one of the strong ones, I'd say. What's up, Thoro? Can you look at sand? Yep, we already looked at that one, and we recorded it as well, so all good there. What's up, Shiggy77? Good morning to you as well. Could you look at some CHR? Okay, this is a new one for me. A lot of new ones today. A lot of new ones, and a lot of the new ones have been looking very good too, which is quite a surprise. And this one's no different. This is very, very interesting. Wow. Let's see. 4 hour looking good for some short term up, probably about 128.5, maybe even 130. I'd even be looking for this one to go back onto the new all-time high party with any sort of a 4 hour closure above 140, and there very likely is a technical target on this one, as we do have a bit of a formation and a range going on right here. Just doing some bad mental math. We got a $1.05 right there. We got 140 right there. We're looking at a move towards 170 if the top side of the range is taken out on a 4 hour closure even. I'd probably want to see like a 12 hour daily just in case. By contrast, however, if you do trade below yesterday's low, I would be looking for one to keel on over quite a fair bit, well below $1 at that point, obviously. Probably looking at somewhere between about 80 and 85 cents overall. Until then, short-term timeframes are showing more bouncy than not. We do see higher lows. We do see hidden bullish evidence, which you expect on your higher lows. 4 hour jewel is showing some upside right there as well. I'm only concerned about this one if you take out yesterday's wick low. That's fine, and Bitcoin's bouncing up now, so this one probably does actually act rather well, all things considered. I mean, it's held up generally well right there. I would say it's a lot closer to getting to a major top than not. We do see that 5-day BBWP is real high up there right now, and daily got up there as well. So, you know, I think at most it has one more move to new highs, and then I'd probably be looking for a major high. But hey, Bitcoin's probably going to help you out right here. It looks like Bitcoin's actually rallying back up, and yeah, there we go. Okay, there is your local low right there. Hourly jewel's going to turn back up as well, and maybe even the 4 hour will start to turn around. Yeah, in fact, even the 4 hour is rather interesting here, just for the simple fact that it is coming into areas that we really don't see, you know, too often for too long. You know, the last time that we saw this area was actually back on over here, 21st September. You already know that was the $40,000 low right there. Now did spend some time chopping around there, to be fair, but was the ultimate low, generally speaking. Same thing over here on this major low. Same thing on this major low on the bear trap in July. Same thing over here on this major low. You know, obviously not the low, but some good pivot points on price action. So yeah, again, more likely to bounce here than not. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, I would say it's certainly more on the stronger side. Absolutely. Kemal Sabovic says SONN stock. Yo, we got some stocks, baby. Nice. All right. This is what I like to be looking at. Some different stuff today. So you're looking at this one, I'm guessing on NAS probably. Also was wondering if Bitcoin is forming another Wyckoff distribution like back in May. I think there's some similarities there, but for me, what matters more is structure. And in this case, you know, we do have lower lows. Time to be on lower high watch. And wow, this is the worst chart I've ever seen in a very long time. Holy shit. This thing traded all the way up to 2,800 and is now trading at 59.5 cents. Holy fuck. Oh my God. Sir. Yeah, it's a biotech, obviously. Biotechs trade like crypto shitcoins. Is this good on the daily? No, it's not good on any time frame, really. Heavily bearish even on the daily as long as below 68.5 cent, man. But this is just a hot steaming pile of garbage, man. Terrible. Just god awful. God fucking awful, man. Jesus Christ. Unless you have some insider information that this thing is making some moves, or I don't know, maybe they figured out like the cure to cancer or something like that, as they are a biotech, it looks like. As far as charts go, one of the worst charts I've seen in a long time, man. Very, very bad. Very, very bad right there. Yeah, not great. Mr. Tasco says Cardano USD daily weekly. Sure, man. Ouch. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, so let's see. So I'm guessing Cardano probably did not fare too well in the last week, really. Let's see where it's at right now. 185 back down to the prior range lows yet again, and we off of the break of 205 from, I guess this was like, oh wow, this was like many days ago now. Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Wasn't expecting that, but fair enough. Anyways, are we likely to bounce here? Probably yes, but man, this is not strong. And where would I call another meltdown to new lows? I would call that with a 4-hour closure, actually just below about 180. If you do see something like that, I'm looking for this one to get absolutely smacked on the face again, probably at about 165 to 167. Until then, I mean, this one's relatively weak, man. Relatively weak for sure, and it has been for a long time now. I mean, the daily is obviously in a downtrend. All higher term timeframes are in a downtrend right now. It's hard to love. While it probably does bounce a little bit with Bitcoin, you can see already that this is just pound for pound. It's not keeping up with Bitcoin, obviously. So that is also what kind of makes it relatively weak, in my opinion. You know, can it bounce back up towards $2 or so? Maybe yes, but look, this is now heavily bearish as long as you're below about 230. Very hard chart to love. You know, I'm making some excuses for it right now, even to kind of address that. I wouldn't say 230 is bearish as long as you're below there. Bearish as long as you're below about 217 in this case. You know, at best, I think it's ranging right here, and you probably get a bit of a pity bounce alongside Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin shows any weakness again, this thing is not going to hold up very, very well. Yeah, ugly right there. It needs a very strong broad market. So again, easier to watch Bitcoin, and even then, like, Bitcoin needs to really accelerate to the upside for this thing to have any chance, in my opinion. Really atrocious here. What about the higher term time frames, like a monthly? Not terrible on a monthly, but I mean, this one could take a long time. What about 5-day? Did we already look at this one? Same thing. Wouldn't be surprised to see it make another, maybe make one more lower low towards like 170 or so. But Bitcoin is bouncing pretty decently right now. Just let's see if this one's following it at all. Yeah, it should bounce up a little bit more here, at least 188. Personally speaking, I do think it will give another move towards about 193, 194 region. I just don't know what time frames you're necessarily on right there. King Tavares boss is what?
Please don't yell at me, but can you make the announcement and be my message?
Yeah. Okay. No more oh my God, we're already about 2 hours into this one. Yeah. No more comments here. No more, not comments, but no more super chats, as we are gonna put on the new message. Let me just pin it up. Did you already post it? Okay, you did post it. All right. Come on. God damn it, YouTube update. It's taking forever to show up there, but I think I can maybe do it from here. No, I can't. Damn. Let's see. All right, just waiting. Here we go. Found it. All right, yeah. So just giving you warning right now. We won't. No more super chats after this message, please. We'll read all the ones that are already there, and but no more after that. We should be a bit more strict with timing. Yeah, we are kind of getting very close to the end here. King Tavares boss is looking at QRDO. Did we already look at this one? I think we did. I feel like we did. Yeah, we did. Toppy, man. I have the same thing to say about it as before. Short-term bouncy, long-term toppy. Short-term, can bounce back up towards $8 or so, but bearish long-term as long as below about 840. So short-term bouncy, long-term below 840. I'm looking for this one to put in a lower high and very likely put in a major top right there. Let's see. Chris S says, hello, sir. Macro look at Bitcoin versus gold. Okay, on the quarterly. All right, this should be fun, actually. Let me do it on this chart right here. Okay, so we get the index, and we're going to go versus, you want to do it versus XAU, I'm guessing, not like gold, literally the thing. Let's try this. Okay, so this is basically Bitcoin versus gold. And you want to look at it quarterly. Very bullish. However, are you putting a bit of a high right there? Perhaps yes. Let's look at a monthly first. No, monthly is not a high right there, at least not as it currently stands. Long term, obviously, Bitcoin is very much outpacing gold right here. In fact, you can't really even pick out too many differences between the gold chart and the Bitcoin versus dollar versus and Bitcoin versus gold. Essentially, I think we only need to do Bitcoin versus gold anyways, but let's look at it like this. This is actually going to be a better way to do it anyways. Bitcoin straight up versus gold right here. There we go. Yeah, it should be the same thing, more or less. But long term, if you're looking at a monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, I'd still be massively more bullish on Bitcoin than gold in this case. Only way that I change my mind on that is if you do see a closure below about 7 billion by end of this quarter. So not even at the end of this month, but at the end of 2021, actually. Anyways, you're saying the quarterly, the lowest 3-month volume since 2012. I can't even look at volume right here, actually, but I'm not too super concerned with volume, to be honest with you. What I'm concerned with is structure in this case, and obviously this is just a long-term macro uptrend. So I'm gonna be mostly bullish on Bitcoin versus gold in that case. What's up, Edwin's generation? I know a lot of people crap on Tron, but it looks like one of the stronger charts does it. Well, let's give it a chance then. I'm trusting you on this one though, man. I'm trusting you a lot. Does it look like one of the stronger charts? No, not at all. I wouldn't say it's not on the relatively weak side though. So at least it's got that going for it. It didn't correct all the way down to the 55. And you still got your higher lows here too, to be fair. So yeah, maybe I should say this a little bit more on the stronger side here. Probably going to bounce short term, somewhere around about 1140 or so. Where to get bullish on it again, like looking for this one to continue trend to prior highs. In this case, above 1180. Until then, just short term bouncy. I don't know where this one's coming from. Obviously, we haven't charted this one in like ages now, but short term bouncy, back above 1180. Actually, look for this one to go on, I suppose, a retest of your November highs, and then very likely continue on with the party from there. This one actually is looking better than most, to be fair. Yeah, you know what? I judged you too soon. I apologize on that. I only get bearish on this one below about 10.5 cents on a 4-hour closure, and then yeah, I look for this one to fall apart, just like everything else, back down below 10 cents. But until then, holding up relatively well. I imagine we have some hidden bullish evidence right here. We do. We saw extremes on volatility yesterday. Okay, good. We expect to see that right there. Looking for this one to bounce up here. It's good. It's okay. You're saying, can you verify me if it's still on short-term uptrend? Yes. It is on a daily, yes. BK says CVX versus wrapped Ethereum on 4-hour, daily, and weekly. Okay, CVX versus wrapped Ethereum. All right, convex. Okay, bad. I'd be looking for another drive somewhere down around about 0.00517 region and probably try for a bounce there. But I guess it did just make new highs. So pullback is kind of, not the worst thing of all time, but this does look rather toppy here, to be fair. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing work its way down further south over time. 4-hour time frame, yeah, short-term downside. I mean, this is just ugly right there. But this is a rewards token, so they kind of just, exist to be sold anyways, unless if I'm confusing it with something else. Weekly. Yeah, same thing here, man. I think that you're putting in a top right here. Not super hot. Not super hot right there. I only changed my opinion on that one back above about 0.0075, and that's quite a move from where we're at right now, man. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Mr. Dr. Roxo says, KDA short-term and long-term. Sure, man. This is actually it's one of Elsa's favorite coins because it has a pretty logo. Yeah, that's it. There you go. Yeah, that one in Uniswap. I'm still stick with my top call on this one, man. I don't think that this one's making new all-time highs anytime soon, and it's still a good chart long-term, and I should probably record one on this. All right, here we have Kadena, symbol KDA versus the dollar. We recorded a video on this one, I believe, last week, saying that this one's very, very likely at a top. I stick with that call right there. Now, there will be bounces along the way, obviously, and while I'm not necessarily calling like a macro high here, and to be fair, it's short-term, it's very likely to bounce from right here and probably even bounce back up towards 22.5 or so. I would be sticking with my top call, especially as long as you are closing dailies below, if I can actually get this properly done, about 25 bucks in this case. Below 25 bucks, it's just another lower high to me and does set it up for a deeper retracement over time, probably down to your low teens if I had to guess. Now it's going to take some time, obviously. We could be talking like a month or two. Short-term timeframes, like I said, are bouncy here, completely fine. Actually, even have some bullish evidence come off that last low. Momentum oscillators are pointing up in a more, more corrective direction right there. I imagine our momentum oscillators over here are probably going to be supportive of that on the short-term timeframes, but higher-term timeframes, I imagine, are still coming down hard. Yeah. 5-day coming down hard as long as below 21.88, which we are currently a few bucks below right now. 2-day is also coming down hard below 21.5, same thing, and daily is also coming down hard and kicked out of the bullish control zone below 23.80. So very short-term time frames, are they suggestive of a bounce? Yes, $18 on a 4-hour closure, and we do remain with upside posturing, and hourly is doing what? It is also up above about 18 bucks here too. So short-term bouncy, yes. But any fail to reclaim back above 25 bucks, and I'm looking for this one to work its way sideways and down over the next few months here, probably somewhere down around low teens. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cadena. And I should also say, I mean, if you do reclaim $25, I suppose at that point I have to be looking towards 30. It would be the next technical target. I think it's unlikely, but that would be my conditions for that. So hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Cadenas there. Let's see. Damien says, good evening. Polkadot on the 1 and 4 hour, please. If possible, save from Bobo. What is Bobo and Mumu? These are like new memes that I guess I'm too old to fucking know, man. Anyways, we'll go to it over here. Let's see. And you're looking at a 1 and 4. Sorry, I'm on completely wrong time frames. On the relatively weak side here for DOT, unfortunately. Yeah, this one got hit a little bit more hard than most things in this market. Not a good sign right there. Is it going to bounce with Bitcoin in the short term? Probably yes, but even then, I mean, this one's already weak right here. I wouldn't necessarily be looking for like the next major meltdown move to the downside. Let me actually chart this for the timeframes that you specifically asked for. As long as you're closing 4 hour dildos above about 38.75, closing below there, and I'd be looking for this one to take its next major leg down towards 35, 36 bucks or so, and a bounce implied somewhere around there. Until then, short term, it's more bouncy than not. Multiple drives of bullish divergence on your very low term timeframes, but again, even up to your 4 hour, you don't even see bullish divergence forming right there, and I'm very hesitant to be calling like a major low until we at least see something like that, which a 4 hour timeframe is not going to really represent obviously the daily and above, and you know, that's just going to be corrective on a daily. You know, lower high watch as long as you're below 50 bucks in this case. Long term, is it still good? Yeah, long term, I mean, it's very, very good here. But, you know, playing a pullback down, maybe even to your mid to low 30s, that's just going to be another higher low. So we do have bearish divergence forming on the weekly. If that gets confirmed, yeah, next target would be 35 bucks. And that would, again, just still be another higher low. So it'd be still long term good. But if you're on the very short-term timeframes, short-term bouncy, yes, just be aware of where those pain points are, man. Hopefully that was helpful on DOT, sir. J3F says Sol USD. Yeah, I'm very interested. I've not looked at Solana at all today. So let's see where it's at right now. 215. Yeah, this one's breaking down too. Even Solana is not immune from the market's mishaps right now. Anyways, you're looking at a 1, 4, and daily. Okay, let's go down to a 4 hour first. We'd like to bounce here first. Still nothing. I mean, no bullish divergence. We don't see 4 hour BBWP even hitting extremes yet. I mean, it's getting up there, yes, but no extremes. Hourly, I'm sure that we do. Let's see. Yeah, we do. I mean, you have to go a little bit further back here, but yeah, we do. 1, 2, 3 drives. Probably does try back up somewhere around about 220. I think at the minimum. If you do start to see even like 4 hour closures above 220, I probably extend that target to about 225, 226 region. However, what are we looking like on a daily right here? Daily is lower highs as long as you're below, Jesus Christ, man, 240 in this case. Looking for a general continuation down towards, Jesus, man, 200 bucks. God damn, man. When you go to the moon, you come back down to earth at the exact same pace. Weekly, bearish divergence forming. Looking like a reversal right there, man. Again, long-term, very good. Long-term, very, very good, but it can be long-term good and still come down to like 150. That's the problem with something like this. Daily, yeah, I do think that you'd have a chance of like 195 to 200 bucks first, so for what it's worth, and very, very short term. Hey, you know, it's likely to bounce here, and I don't know, maybe you get one of those god dildos back on to 240, 250. That would, you know, that would obviously make me bullish on this one as well. But you know, similar to a lot of the other ones, kind of have to be on lower high watch after a bit of a short term bounce here. M Simply Gain says .BTC daily weekly. Sure. Let's see how it's holding up versus the old cone pairing right there. I imagine not so well. Yeah, not so well right there. Long term still an up. Well, I don't know about long term still an upturn. Weekly still an upturn. What?
Did you do CVX on BTC?
Yeah, we did do CVX. Yeah, we did do CVX. Weekly bearish divergence forming right there. Kind of already hit the easy target on that one. If you do see another leg down, it's going to be 5,800 satoshis. Jesus, man, nasty. Monthly. Not gonna be too much on that one. Anyways, you're looking at a daily and weekly, so let's actually address what you're looking at right here. Let's see. I actually need to go down to a very low term time frame. Do we see anything resembling a bit of a short term low? Yeah, we do have some drives of bullish evidence starting to formulate here, but we need a local low first. How do we confirm that? Closure back above about 68.50, and then yes, I'd be looking for this one to work its way back up towards low 7,100 region. So kind of similar to the other ones that we've seen today. You know, short term a bit bouncy here. However, you do have your lower lows here. Where's your lower high watch coming in at? Well, let's do the same thing on this one as we have on the others. Anywhere below 8,000 satoshis is a lower high. As long as you're below 8,000 satoshis on a daily, I am going to be essentially bearish on this one, looking for it to make another leg lower somewhere around about 57. Try for another base right around there. Let's see. R. Bo says, I've heard scammers are creating fake tokens on other blockchains with the exact same ticker as the original token. FYI to keep the crypto world safe. Hey, thank you for that PSA right there, man. That's actually very useful. Yeah, man. You know, cryptocurrency land is just laden with fucking scams. So it's par for the course, man. It's par for the course. But I really sympathize with a lot of new people in this market, because it's going to be really difficult to kind of tell those things apart from each other. I mean, shit, man. There's even like fucking scam impersonators of me on Instagram. Like Instagram, they're going and messaging people on my Instagram, like trying to get them to invest in some bullshit, whatever the fuck. Who knows? Just how far will you go on that? Anyways, Android Hostage says, Hey man, all good, brother. Can you check out VRA on KuCoin 4-hour and daily? Do you think it's bullish medium term? General answer today is going to be no, but I don't know what medium term means to you, man. This one, I mean, it's not getting hit as hard as some of the other ones, just kind of consolidating here, I think at best. Is it going to be bullish medium term? No, I think it's rangy medium term at best, and probably does imply another